Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News. Coming up in today's programme, the Hawks fly into the second round of the FA Cup, but another Hampshire team is knocked out. The draw is tonight. A second lockdown has stopped the university sports at Solent, but one is allowed to continue. We have a live reaction for you. Also in the programme, will MMA be able to get up off the canvas after COVID? We speak to gyms in Southampton who were forced to close, now wondering if they'll be able to reopen at all. Jurgen Klopp has criticised game congestion in the Premier League. The Liverpool manager expressed his frustration at the number of matches teams are having to play, resulting in more injuries. He said that this could have a major impact on next year's European finals.
Tonight we lost Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm pretty sure Gareth Southgate is not fine. And if we continue like this, and hopefully we can play the Euros in the summer. Hopefully we can play it. If they happen, let's see who will be part of that, which player, what players. So everybody needs to go on the table. It's fine. We found a solution to play on. That's great. But now we cannot stop thinking. We have to start thinking new.
Havant and Waterlooville will find out who they play in the FA Cup tonight. The Hawks advanced to the second round following a 1-0 victory over Cray Valley PM. They will be in bowl number 2 in the draw, with Portsmouth being potential opponents. One team that won't be in the hat, unfortunately, is Eastleigh. They were knocked out by League One's MK Dons on penalties, following a valiant performance over 120 minutes. The draw will take place at 7 o'clock tonight. Lewis Hamilton could make his history in this weekend's race at the Turkish Grand Prix. He could equal Michael Schumacher's record with 7 championship titles. Valtteri Bottas must outscore the Englishman by 8 points to take it to the Bahrain circuit. His Mercedes teammate needs to be within 78 points of Hamilton to keep the championship alive. Australian cricket has made a big money signing. Johnny Bairstow will make his debut in the Big Bash League signing for the Melbourne Stars. Head coach David Husey is excited with his arrival, saying that the English cricketer has played at the top level for almost a decade and will bring experience and versatility. The 31-year-old was one of England's key players in the 2019 World Cup winning squad. Tom Brady has suffered the toughest loss of his career. The 6-time Super Bowl winner lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 3-38 against the New Orleans Saints. There was fair play throughout the game between the two sides. Bruce Arians, the club's head coach, said that it's time to forget this result and move on to the next match. University sports has been brought to a halt by the second national lockdown. Up until the last week, Team Solent were training in preparation for the start of the book season in January. Our reporter Rob O'Hanlon has more from the Solent Sports Complex.
It's been 5 days since the start of the second lockdown and there's already been plenty of issues. University sport has been taking a massive toll, with many sports being told to halt during the lockdown. All preparations and plans for the upcoming January competitive start of the league has been halted and derailed. One such sport that's faced this problem is futsal, where they have to play inside the sports complex behind me in order to play.
Of course, the lockdown affected my team and every other sport in Solent, because even though we supposed to start the league in January, we want to start practicing already this month. And it's difficult because I was motivated, my players were motivated. So, of course, that may affect in something. Of course, we will continue to work, to improve.
The situation has been further complicated by the lack of clarity from Bucks themselves. Many teams within Solent still believe there will be a January start date for the competitive leagues, but that feeling isn't the same throughout. Clubs such as the rowing club believe that any January start date will be postponed.
Although we do love to prove how amazing we are, I don't think they'll see it as more beneficial than non-beneficial way. I would love it if it would go ahead, honestly, but I don't think it will. I reckon it'll be postponed for a bit, because maybe before the lockdown we were sort of like, maybe things are getting back to normal now, or I certainly was, but But as soon as the lockdown came, maybe things are getting worse, or, maybe the lockdown will, sort it back out.
The feeling by Team Solent can be completely understood, with the lack of clarity from both Bucks and the government being very unfair. However, all the students can hope for is once the second lockdown is finished, they'll be able to go back to doing what they love. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Rob. Another industry to fall victim to the lockdown is non-elite sport across the country. MMA gyms are one of the many sporting facilities forced to be shut down over the next month. With the sport experiencing a massive growth in participation in the last few years, the closure of training areas and gyms has represented a big blow for local organisations. Harvey Leonard reports.
In England, from today, we're once again asking you to stay at home.
Across November, national lockdown restrictions will be in place once again, as restaurants, pubs, areas of retail and gyms are forced to shut once more. One area severely impacted is sport at a non-elite level, with one in particular heavily affected by the closure of gyms.
Oh, big shots by McGregor. Look at the clock closely. 10 seconds. Oh, he's hurt. Could he finish him here? That's it. All over.
Mixed martial arts has been on a rapid rise this decade, with participation and gym membership increasing. But with another lockdown, the sport at an amateur level could be seriously harmed by the forced closures. With multiple MMA gyms in Southampton, the city's presence in the sport is under threat from this period of inactivity. And local fighters and coaches are concerned about the impact it might have.
I think it's really unfortunate for the gyms because obviously the elite top level athletes have been able to train, but again there's so few relatively in the country that they've had a lack of people to train with. Obviously the people who are new in the sport weren't able to train at all.
Having worked and trained in gyms herself, the number 12 ranked pound for pound women's fighter in England, Bryony Terrell, is worried about how local gyms will survive.
It's had a huge impact on gyms. It's had a huge impact on shows and promotions in this country, because they basically just had to, a lot of them have had to shut down, and they've lost so much money that I don't know if they'll ever recover, to be honest.
But despite this, some gyms are choosing to stretch the government regulations and stay open. Wigan's Majestic Martial Arts is looking to defy the lockdown, citing the mental health of its coaches and those who train there. The gym's manager says he can't find a reason to close when they enforce safety regulations and stick to the hygiene protocols.
We're a very hygienic centre. Attention to detail for hygiene is second to none, and we do everything properly. We follow all the regulations, and there is no reason why we should be able to not stay open.
Some other gyms are looking to follow suit, but they have already faced penalties as the police look to ensure rules are met until restrictions are lifted on December the 2nd. What's clear is that while big promotions like the UFC and Bellator continue to put on weekly shows, action like this in Southampton will be absent for the coming weeks. Harvey Leonard, Solent Sports News.
That's all for today. You can keep up to date by following our social media at Solent Sports News. Thanks for watching. See ya.